evening at 6 o'clock on Friday, June 17th, 2016. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. Alberto Cutillo, the Italian ambassador to our country, gave an exclusive interview for Aura News and gave assurance that he is willing to cooperate with the prosecution regarding the Albanian prosecution's investigation over the tapping issue and the equipment that is claimed to have been used. The ambassador said that the equipment was brought into Albania to train the Albanian police officers. The Italian ambassador declared that the prosecutor general assured him that the Italian police are not under investigation. The ambassador did not give any details about the location of the equipment in respect of the investigation and declared that Italy will give any information the Albanian prosecution needs. Yesterday, the appellate court removed the suspension from the Director General of the State Police, who stands accused of abuse of power in relation to the tapping investigation. It is learned that in its decision, the appellate court stated that the return to duty does not mean that there is no suspicion of crime, but rather that there is no risk of destroying the evidence. The Democratic Party accused the Prime Minister and the Minister of Interior today of spying on several central institutions in Tirana. The DP's General Secretary declared that they have information from the Secret Service and that they have sent it to the President and the Prime Minister. The equipment has been used in areas near the Prosecution General offices, at Elbasani Street, near the Public Radio Television, and near the municipality of Tirana. These movements are documented so far based on a media report that refers to a Secret Service document. The report has been submitted to the President and the Prime Minister and the Prosecutor General, Rostani said. He added that the Prime Minister and his state criminals all have reasons to hamper the investigation and asks the prosecution not to withdraw because of pressure, but to follow through to the end. After an absence from the Democratic Party headquarters for several days, the U.S. Ambassador Donald Liu returned there today. For several months, the ambassador has undertaken the mission of helping the parties find consensus for the judicial reform adoption. The U.S. ambassador stayed at the DP chairman's office for more than an hour, where he discussed the final issue dividing the parties and stopping the implementation of the reform. The point over which the parties do not agree upon is Venice's recommendation number 88, which is related to the establishment of the new justice institutions. The U.S. and EU ambassadors have been personally committed to the judicial reform since the beginning of the process, but after June 8th, they expressed their disappointment in the failure of the prime ministers and the DP chairman to find consensus at their meeting, saying the opposition's stance was inflexible. Since June 8th, the ambassadors have not been seen at the DP headquarters. This was seen as a tension in their relationship with the opposition leader. The U.S. ambassador's visit to the DP chairman comes after the Prime Minister's statement in which he declared that the U.S. and the EU have drawn a red line regarding the reserved seats for the two institutions that will verify the judges and prosecutors' figure. Chairman of the main Democratic Party's ally, the Republican Party, also asked to adopt the judicial reform respecting Recommendation 88 of the Venice Commission. The Republican Party chairman declared that the Socialist Party cannot impose red lines. The judicial reform should provide an independent judicial system and incorruptible. We have all agreed that Rama cannot determine the red lines, but the Venice Commission only can do this. The Commission has defined the green lines, showing the solution for cases of political disputes. There is only one issue that requires resolution: independence of the justice system from the majority, he said. According to the Republican Party chairman, voting with 2/3 is misleading because it discredits Parliament and avoids the constitutional essence. Voting with 2/3, as requested by Mr. Rama, invalidates the Parliament and turns it into a ridiculous and useless institution. It creates a locking mechanism, increases the political conflict by removing the necessary support to the justice system structures or judicial structure. Above all, 2/3 avoids the constitutional core of our parliamentary republic, he said. The Republican Party chairman also said that the DP chairman's meeting with the ambassadors aimed to familiarize them with the judicial reform. He called for the approval of the judicial reform as soon as possible. Albania will provide consolidated information to the EU about issues of corruption and organized crime. This will be made thanks to a memorandum of understanding signed by the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Integration, and the Supreme Court. The signed memorandum of understanding between the three institutions will enable consolidated statistics of criminal corruption and organized crime cases. The Ministers of Integration and Justice said, "This cooperation is in full compliance and is fully consistent with the recommendations of the European Commission, which note that Albania must demonstrate progress in creating a history of data investigation and trials of criminal cases related to corruption and organized crime," said the Minister of Integration. The Minister of Justice described the memorandum this way. "This memorandum is a unique instrument that enables the Albanian government to report correctly and have updated, fresh information from the judicial authorities," said the Minister of Justice. The head of the Supreme Court said that performance and effectiveness are the main problems for the judiciary. The main problems for the justice system remain the performance and effectiveness, especially in the fight against corruption and organized crime. The progress reports of the European Union have consistently highlighted the need to create a system of sustainable data, which will have a positive impact on the investigation of these cases, said the head of the Supreme Court. The Minister of Integration, the Minister of Justice, and the head of the Supreme Court all highlighted the positive effect the memorandum will have in the fight against corruption and organized crime, and that it will strengthen the interinstitutional cooperation. It is believed that revenue collection has created a positive effect on the budget, and in July, the government will review the budget. Reviewing the budget is among the focus of the International Monetary Fund mission, which is currently in Tirana. It seems that the increase of salaries and pensions remains an open question and is also part of the discussions with the IMF mission. Even after a positive performance in revenue collection, it is not known whether there will be an increase in salaries and pensions. The IMF has already made its position known that it is time for gifts, speaking to the need for fiscal stability, which essentially means the reduction of debt. Asked by Aura News, the Minister of Finance left the issue open as he highlighted a consolidation of indicators. The 2017 fiscal package is among the issues of discussions with the IMF, and it is not known whether the reduction of royalties and VATs on tourism, publicly promised by the government, will be included in the coming year's fiscal package. The Minister of Finance made his statements after signing an agreement with the Italian ambassador for the second phase of the program between the Italian and Albanian governments regarding the conversion of debt, which envisages the new fund of €20 million to be invested in various projects. Some representatives from the Muslim belief have sent a letter to the Assembly asking the MPs not to vote on the articles of the constitutional package that allow marriage between the same gender. We are asking the MPs not to accept this article, which is not related to the judicial reform. The Albanian family already has many problems, and gay marriage is the least it needs, said a rep from the Muslim community, adding that they believe marriage between the same gender destroys the family, which is the core of the society. The Albanian Muslim Forum represents 2,000 believers all around the country. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.